All right, what's going on, below average bloggers? Mike here. I am camping in the beautiful southern tip of Utah's desert. This is an area called Valley of the Gods. And today I wanted to discuss 5 ways I am able to put out content faster with a plan. Having a method when you put out content and when you write content is important. And I don't know about you guys, but when I started, I would sit down with no plan and I would kind of start, not be sure where to start looking at things, go down rabbit holes, and it wasn't very productive. So today we're going to talk about 5 ways you can increase your timeliness and speed when writing blog content. But we're going to do it while climbing to the top of that. So let's do it. All right, so step 1, you need to have a plan, and that plan starts with an outline. So doing things like getting your heading, having your subheadings. It could be something as simple as how to climb a mountain. Well, that needs to be your heading or your title, but then your subheading needs to be things along the lines of terrain considerations, what gear to take with you, your physical abilities, first aid, having a map. So those are all going to be the things that are going to need to be outlined before you sit down and write that article. And so having that plan and that content outline will save you a lot of time, because if you sit down with a blank sheet of paper and try to start just typing randomly, you're going to waste a lot of time and you're going to end up rewriting a lot of that when you realize you've kind of gone off track. So start with a plan as number 1. And now, let's head up to there. All right, so that takes me to number 2. Start small. Even if you've got that outline and you've got your subheadings and your heading and you're thinking, God, I just don't know what to write. Start small. Oftentimes, if you just get that first sentence cranked out in each subheading, that first sentence cranked down at the beginning, things will start to flow afterwards. If you sit down with the expectation that you're going to have to crank out 2,000 words and that's just what you got to get done, that may be the end goal. But by starting small and breaking that up into little pieces, you'll do much better. Maybe just one paragraph at a time, maybe just one sentence at a time. But by starting small and removing that expectation of 2,000 words, things will start to flow a little bit better. Oh, and as we head up this mountain and we work towards number 3, do me a favor, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I call myself the below average blogger because I came into this knowing nothing in a field where people know a lot. So by liking and subscribing, it does a lot to help out the channel and keeps me moving in the right direction. And hopefully I can provide some content that helps you guys. Hank, how come I'm breathing heavy and all you want to do is play fetch? Let's go. Number 3, competition. Look at your competition. See what they're writing about. Because at the end of the day, our goal as affiliate marketers and bloggers is to look at what our competitors are ranking for that we can actually beat as far as domain authority and improving upon the content they have. I need to write a better article that covers more, that answers better, and that gives more original content to the user. So if your competitor wrote 1,000 words about how to climb a mountain and only covered hydration and climbing techniques with your hand and feet, that's great. Your article should be more than that, covering hydration, covering terrain, covering weather, covering where to put your hands and feet, covering first aid, and some resources they can look at before going, maybe linking a YouTube video or something from a climbing association, a table you can insert with elevation and oxygen and altitude and angles and climbing. There's lots of things you can incorporate to beat that 1,000 words, not just by word count, but with the content itself. So number 3 is going to be competition. What are your competitors doing and how can you beat them? We're definitely up here. But this last little bit is like straight up. And you can see everything kind of crumbles and falls. And with no cell service and no buddy with me, it might not be the wisest to go all the way to the top. But we can go find a pretty spot, sit and do the rest of this. All right, number 4. This is going to be YouTube and podcasts. Now, when you write content, your goal is to be giving original information that's not already out there. You're not trying to duplicate your competitors, but you are trying to provide original new content that is actually helpful to what the person is searching for. Podcasts and YouTube are an excellent source to get information that is relevant and unique to what you're writing about. So we'll continue with the example of today of climbing a mountain. Listen to some podcasts with some well-known and respected mountain climbers, people in the industry who are doing it. Listen to a few episodes. I guarantee they're going to talk about a couple things that happened, a couple tips they learned on a recent climb, and a couple things that they will implement next time that would have been helpful on the last trip. And those are the types of bits and nuggets of information that if you give to your user, it's extremely valuable and helpful. This isn't something you need to cite. For example, if a well-known mountain climber says, hey, on this last trip, I was doing the sandstone in southern Utah and I didn't realize how flaky it was. Had I brought this type of shoe or had I entered from this angle, it would have been much more helpful when dealing with that type of terrain. So you can use that type of information. And then if you want, you can point back to that podcast and that person who said it. But this is a way for you to find original, unique information that's not already pasted in somebody else's blog that we're going to be just duplicating. We're going to find original content from people who are really doing it. And that can be any industry, right? It can be finance, it can be real estate, it can be mountain climbing, it can be camping, it can be baseball gloves. It doesn't matter, right? So everything out there has people talking about what's going on, people who are in that business every day. And so number 4, podcasts and YouTube. These are areas you can find people really doing it, offering real information, and you can use that as ideas to generate new content that's helpful to your user and that also beats your competition. All right, we're going to start this walk down. We're actually about halfway down already. We couldn't get to the very top. And that point right there that we couldn't get to the very top is going to lead into number 5. And that leads me to number 5. And number 5 is remove your expectations. Sure, I wanted to get right there. But you know what? Today it didn't happen. And when you're blogging, you might sit down and tell yourself, I'm going to get to that rock, 2,500 words. It's going to be the most amazing hike in the world. And you start writing, you answer that question to the fullest, you insert a table. You've done everything, you've covered that question as well as you can. And you're at 1,200 words. Well, that might be where it's time to stop. That might be your complete content that fully answers that question, fully gives the user what they're looking for, and there's no need to force yourself to that 2,500 words when you don't have to. You've done your job, you've given the content, and it's a good place to stop and post that article. You don't need to just fill your article with useless stuff to hit a certain word count. I think answering the question completely, accurately, and thoughtfully. So 2,500 words is right there. We stopped around, oh my God, this is so weird. Bam, we stopped around 1,600 words, and that's okay. We got a great view, we got the page views, and we got it done. So there you go, guys. That is your 5 tips on content writing. Hopefully this is helpful. Don't kill yourself over your content. Put together a plan, do some research, link into things that are helpful, answer your subject's question, and move on. Don't kill yourself trying to get one perfect article when you could write 2 or 3 good ones in the same amount of time. Hope this was helpful. Definitely like, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate you stopping by, and keep following along. I'll keep traveling, and I'll keep posting, and we'll do this together. Talk to you later. Bye.